In this video tutorial, we will walk through the main steps to run an experiment with the CrystalBreeder in the Crystallization Systems Software. To perform an experiment, open the Crystallization Systems Software. Select the CrystalBreeder available on the network and click Connect. The status of the selected device is shown at the bottom right. The first screen gives an overview of the reactors. Click on any reactor to view its corresponding experiment screen. At top left corner, various setting options are available, such as file to start a new standard experiment or feedback control experiment with a license, load experiment, or exit. Other options are active while performing an experiment. Clicking on the Edit button will give options to manage template programs or databases. Clicking on Connections will open the Connecting to the Device option. The View button will provide options to see the details of each reactor and system settings. The Help button gives access to find information about the device. Report a problem. Log viewers. The software version. And license to create a license request. Below this, you can see the overview of the 32 reactors. At the bottom, the dew point temperature, case temperature, and heat sink temperature are given. First, click in the reactor where you want to perform an experiment. You can start a new experiment or open an existing experiment from the computer. Or copy an experiment from another reactor. To start a new experiment, click on Create. This will open the Experiment Details tab. At the top, you will see the status of the reactor. Fill in the details of the experiment, like experiment name, username and description, and type of cap. Select different caps for different modules. And select the stirrer type. You can also schedule the time to start an experiment later. Fill in the details of all 4 vials, such as compound, solvent, concentration, and stirrer. You can copy the details to all other vials and change values as required. After filling the experiment details, go to the next step called Experiment Program to program the experiment steps. You can import a prepared program from library or files. To create a new program, first add empty rows by clicking on Add. Select the desired action from the available options, hold, ramp and tune. Add a ramp step to increase or decrease the temperature with a linear or quadratic profile. Fill the other ramp details like end temperature and heating rate. The sample interval can be changed as desired. Add the stirring speed for the selected stirrer type. The evaporation and vapor diffusion options are only available when selected from the cap type. Program the experiment further by adding a hold step to maintain the constant temperature and specify the duration to hold that constant temperature. To check the samples, you can add a prompt step and write a message. The prompt step will maintain the same condition until you click Continue. Add a tune step to calibrate the transmissivity to 100%. The tune step is important to measure the transmissivity correctly. Add a ramp step again to decrease the temperature. And fill in the required details. You can insert a row by selecting the row above the place you want to add it. And clicking Insert. Similarly, to remove a step, select its row and click Remove. You can copy rows by selecting them and clicking on the Copy button. To paste, first add empty rows, and then click Paste. The blanks in gray color are automatically filled by the system and cannot be changed. You can export the program to use it for other experiments. If required, select the Post step to maintain the desired experiment conditions after the experiment is complete. The programmed experiment will be displayed below. After programming the complete experiment, save the experiment by clicking on the Save and start the experiment by clicking the Start button. The status of the experiment can be seen at the top. The start of the experiment will take you to the Experiment Runtime tab, which contains 3 panels. The Chart panel, which shows the live trend of the experiment. The Label bar panel, which shows the time and variables of the chart slider. And the Turbidity View panel. The size of the chart or turbidity view panels can be changed by moving the split control. The Legend panel can be collapsed by pressing the triangle in the upper right corner of the Legend bar. You can use the X-range and Y-range bars to zoom and move through the whole chart. Right-click on the graph to select the available options. In the chart, the slider bar can be moved forward or backward, dragging it with the mouse. When moving the slider bar, the values in the Legend panel will be updated to correspond to the slider bar position. Select or deselect the label to be shown on the graph. To make any changes in the programmed experiment, pause the experiment and go to the Experiment Program tab, make your changes and resume. If you do not want to continue the experiment, you can stop it by clicking on Stop. After the experiment is finished, go to next tab called Experiment Reporting. The experiment file can be exported as crystal clear data file, which can be imported into the Crystal Clear software for further analysis of the transmissivity in order to determine the solubility and metastable zone curves as a function of temperature. The CSV file contains the measurement data from the experiment. You can save the whole experiment or a specific part of it by entering a time interval and clicking Export. To save an experiment, click on Save and Close. The experiment will be saved as a CLE file and can only be opened in the Crystallization Systems Software. Click on Discard Experiment to delete the experiment file. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out to us.